Brodes Media.
Come on, man. Come on. You have to tell me that this is a fucking nightmare, right? Like, I want to wake up from this. Swept by Pittsburgh. The Pirates blow. I've already spent 4 hours on the radio postgame venting. I came home. I sat down right here instantly and said, I need to go another half hour. I can't sleep. You can make the argument that this series was worse than what happened in Queens against the Mets. Do you remember how much I lost my mind thinking about that series? They just got swept by the Pirates. Oh, come on, man. The Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates. You can't take this team seriously. And here's what's so upsetting about it all. No shit, they're not good enough. I've watched Rojas and Brandon Marsh play center field for years. Years and years. Do you know how many baseball games that is? I told you in the offseason, Dave Dombrowski did not do enough. Weston Wilson, did you see him trying to dive to his left to make I don't know what, not a SportsCenter top 10 play? He looks like a dope. He looked like an idiot. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. There are screenshots of the ball being 50 feet away. I'm not making that up. I'm not exaggerating and laying out this number that's out of this world. 50 feet away. He's diving in midair. Diving. Here he is. Diving. Stinks. Along with Max Kepler. The only people that want him here are the women. Stinks. Can't play. And don't even get me started on doubling down on Alec Boehm being mentally tough enough to handle an offseason where it's nonstop noise, where it's constant drama. Are they going to trade him or are they not? Are they getting buyers or are they not? Is Dave Dombrowski playing hardball or is he getting really limited calls? And there's really no hardball being played. It's just nobody's interested, because why would a team who had to bench Alec Boehm in the playoffs, why would a team go after that? They saw it with their own 2 eyes. They know there's something wrong. As he ends the series off with a double play. I mean, talk about stealing free money. If I could place a bet and say Alec Boehm hits a ground ball right here, I'd be a fucking millionaire. Dave put way too much emphasis on JT as a right-handed bat. JT is what he is. That's a miscalculation by Dave. And I think JT can still help a team win. His bat needs to be 8th. What's he batting? 5th? Without Bryce in the lineup, that makes me sick. Now, truth be told, there's a whole expanded conversation about Bryce and his wrist and where he currently stands, and that's probably tomorrow after we see what happens against the Cubs. And my point, I'm so angry. I'm so mad. I can't even explain. I'm so pissed about losing to the Pirates. I can't even get into the most important part of this team right now and the most important puzzle piece, which is Bryce's health, because I think this could be severe. His wrist dated back into last year, had all of offseason, and then the second this season began, here's the wrist injury again. It's either he didn't apply the right tactic to the offseason and didn't get work done that needed to be done for whatever reason? And then we could wonder, is that a Bryce problem? Or should the Phillies be saying, yo, screw off and scratch? I'm the one that chooses the decisions. I pay your damn bills. This is what you're going to get done in the offseason. Which one was it? Was it, or clearly it wasn't the latter. I don't even know. My brain doesn't work right now. It's fried. I'm so angry. I'm so pissed. How do you lose to the Pirates that way? Think about this. As much as I want to destroy Dave, because it is an embarrassment to put this franchise in a spot where you tell the fans, like, I'm just saying, like, this is his job as a president, is to be honest. What a shitty job he did. Because he looked at everybody in the face and said, this team can win a championship as is. I made championship caliber moves to the bullpen after losing guys. I brought in Luzardo, and I did this with left field, and we're going to keep it good with center field because they're just going to grow as individual. Holy hell. He thought this team was built to win a championship. We're the furthest we've been since Bryce Harper got here. We haven't been farther than this current spot now. And he's tripling down, doubling down. How? Is it because of the Logan O'Hoppe thing with Brandon Marsh? We gave up X, we acquired Y, so we need to stick with Y? I don't see Howie Roseman do that. I see Howie Roseman look at Bryce Huff and say, you stink. And then he trades him away and does not feel, because I put my cards on the table and really wanted to acquire one person. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Marsh doesn't work. You got boned. I don't know what to tell you, Dave. You lost the deal, and there's no way shoving him in our face and telling us it's a World Series contender is going to change that. It's only going to expose it, and it's exposed it nonstop. He can't make a catch out in center field because he doesn't know how to read a baseball off the bat, and he takes 8,000 steps backwards, and the ball drops right into his feet. Hey, Romano, you're a stiff too, by the way. Even if you did have to deal with some piss poor stuff behind it, you're stiff as is. I mean, this team is not good. They're not good, and you could have seen that a mile away, and that's what irritates me. More than a mile away. The whole damn other side of the country. You could be in California, and you could go, holy shit, Dave Dombrowski did a terrible job. This is not going to work. Of course it's not going to work. The problem is he really thought it would, and I don't think he was just telling us that. He really thought it would. But I don't want to let the players off the hook, because part of me, when I put all the hatred and the anger towards Dave, I think that lets the players off the hook. Like, there's a difference between being a flawed built team and a team that I don't think is going to win a World Series and a team that gets swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates. There is a middle ground here. If I see Alec Boehm on third base with no outs, and Nick Castellanos, JT, both of them combined, have how much Major League Baseball experience? And Stott, by the way, as well, was up in that inning. No daycare anymore. They have plenty of at-bats to understand. You know what the opposite of winning baseball is? That inning. You can't get him in to score, and you end up losing that game in the next half inning. That's disgusting. Do you realize how much of a joke that is? That's bad. JT, Nick, and Stott together as a trio, as bad as Dave Dombrowski has been. That's a them three problem, which just defines loser baseball. And then when you even think about this team being lifeless and having no pulse and essentially being flatlined every time they show up to the ballpark because Bryce isn't in the lineup, then you're not a championship caliber team. What type of team would be this disastrous after losing number 3 if they really had a chance to win? They should be able to beat the Pirates without Bryce and Kyle. I mean, that's not a joke. I know they're not the Colorado Rockies, and I know they may not be the Chicago White Sox of last year, but they're significantly closer to that than anything competent. No. You want to hear from Rob Thompson after the game? This is what Rob had to say. It's not the best audio in the world, but he was asked about shaking some things up and looking at the lineup potentially, and also about a team meeting. Okay, take a listen.
Lost 9 of 10, a couple sweeps. Does it get to the point where there's team meetings or you address the group or anything like that?
Yeah, we'll see.
Is there anything you can do in the lineup, you think? I mean,
Sure. I mean, we'll see, you know. I've been thinking about some different things. We'll see what happens.
All right, so listen, moving the lineup around and dancing around, while I don't think the Stott thing had as much juice and run as we would prefer, it's not about the way these guys are ordered. This guy hits 4, this guy hits 2. Now, the JT thing, yeah, he's obviously batting too high. But right now, the reason why this team doesn't have any soul is because of the personnel, not the way the personnel is strategized, right? Or the strategy went about putting them together on an order list. That's not what they're not good. And I don't think they care for one another. I do not think they care for one another at all. And the proof is right there when Bryce gets hit. I think that really did annihilate and destroy this team, and I won't shut up about it. I'm probably going to be significantly more annoying than I ever have been about it now that they're getting swept by the Pirates. Swept by the Pirates. They were swept by the Pirates. Wake me up from this nightmare. Swept by the Pirates? The Pirates! In front of their home crowd, essentially, because the amount of Phillies fans that were there, and I took calls from people who took the trip, 5-hour, 6-hour drive to go catch a game at PNC. Dude, they're going, yeah, I'm 5 hours in. I can't believe I spent all this money. My brakes don't even work. They broke on my drive up or my drive out, whoever the hell it is. And we had these tickets already packaged together with their hotel fees. So I just drove without brakes. And I'm going, as much as I respect the hustle and I respect the grind to support your team even through the thin. And this is very, very a part of the thin. This roster is thin. This roster can't win a damn thing. I can't believe it. But Dave said it would. Dave told me it can. How? I'm being honest. Dave Dombrowski needs to be fired if this season plays out this way. Dave Dombrowski must lose his job. Not Topper. No, I'm saying Topper is going to be in the clean house role, but I'm saying not Dave coming back and Topper being gone. No. Dave Dombrowski must go if this season is what I project it to be. And it doesn't make sense to do it now. He's not going to harm the organization for years to come by what he does at the deadline. He's going to do what he does at the deadline. He's going to go get a random reliever and some utility infielder and a utility maybe outfielder this time because of how bad the left field and center field is. But they're going to get an Edmundo Sosa type of utility guy-ish, maybe even worse than that probably for the outfield. And then an Estevez. Like, you know, that's an off-season move. I don't even think this team is salvageable. I really don't. Like, I don't want to trade Mick Abel for whoever Estevez equivalent is going to be. That's not the best way to utilize your assets. Now, I'm not telling you sell off everyone, but there is a point where I get there, where you look at Kyle, you look at JT at the deadline, expiring deals. Thanks very much. Which sucks because out of all the chaos that's here, Trey's long-term contract and some other things, the two that you can convince me the two to do is you re-sign Kyle for a nice payday and JT comes back for a lesser deal where his role is just to play veteran presence, good defense, but bat eighth kind of guy, and you pay him accordingly to that. Those are the two things I'd be intrigued about. I'm not running this thing back again. I mean, I can't be that much of a nutsack. I can't be that much of a jerk-off where I'm running it back again with those guys because I don't want them two to leave. No, at that point, someone's got to pay the price, and unfortunately, it's going to be those guys. So maybe you do sell off the assets if it gets that bad, which they're going to be in the mix because of how many teams make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're getting in. I'm just saying they're going to be in the mix to the point where you don't sell. But we may have to. We may have to. Are you kidding me? Think about how bad this roster is. That on June 8th, I have to wonder if we do not buy at the deadline, this isn't just a bad roster. See what I'm saying? The level of bad and stank that we're actually at to be truthfully and legitimately and reasonably discussing if they're even going to make the playoffs, bro. Dave must be fired. See what I'm saying? Whew. I never finished my point, though, of people drive in and the whole thing about the brakes not working or whatever. But I think I was saying, oh, yeah, it was like a home game and all these people were making the trip. And that's how you showed up to the park for your fans, your hardworking fans. It's nuts. No team meeting is going to fix this either. If you have to start calling team meetings, then your team is just not who you need them to be. And a part of that is I don't think they're together. I don't think they're one. Someone brought up this ludicrous phone call, and it really was out of this world, kind of stupid. But there's actually a deeper meaning to it where I thought it was worthy. And someone called in and said they got to do the Nick Sirianni thing where you shave your head. And he said Bryce didn't shave his beard. He only shaved his head. I need him to go the full way. And then he touched on Luzardo with the braids. He kind of changed his hair a little bit, and it didn't really work out for him. And I'm going, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then he said something along the lines of, yeah, it seems like they're just individually trying to get out of their own funks with their own hairdo, and they're not doing it like a team. I want a full commit and need to do it as a team. And I went, huh. You know, that doesn't sound too crazy after all. Just the analogy of, you're right, Bryce is shaving his head, quote, I gotta get out of my funk. Luzardo, now he didn't actually quote that, but that's what that says. And it is an individualized sport. Someone's at the dish, someone's on the mound, and it's mano-y-mano. But there is a team aspect that they don't have, and it all stems from nobody moving an ounce when Bryce got hit. I think Bryce is very impacted by that, and he should be. I think Bryce is very hurt by that, and he should be. He should be. The more and more time we step away from it, the worse and worse it gets. And I'm never going to stop thinking about it. I don't know how you can. Now, someone brought up, why does that matter? What's really hurting them is their inconsistent offense and their inability to string things together over a game and over a course of a week or 2 weeks. And yes, you're right. They're not hitting. But this team is very individualized for me right now. I don't see them as a group. I don't see them as a baseball team. I see them as guys taking the field that wear similar uniforms. Those are two totally different things. And that was on full display. You know, guys like Kyle, Bryce has a lot of respect for. Guys like Nick, Bryce has a lot of respect for. Trey, nobody did anything. Like, no one did anything. You got hit in, 3 games out of 4 or so? When you date back to that A series, nobody did anything. I don't know how you can recover from that. It's one of those things like, I have family that maybe doubted me in the past. And while I forgive them, because I'm not going to hold a grudge like that forever, I don't forget. And as humans, that'll always bother me. It'll always bother me. I didn't expect that from them. I just couldn't believe them. I can't believe you're taking that route. No shame would tell me they were honest. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's always there. Always. But I don't hold grudges. I'm sure Bryce is one way or another having that marinate. And you can't really respond from that. Man, I've bounced around a billion different ways, and my brain's never going to stop. They got swept by the Pirates. They got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates. My brain's not supposed to work after something like that. So if I didn't finish 9 of my thoughts there, they got swept by the Pirates. That's all you need to know. Actually, I lied. There's one more thing you need to know. Pay attention to your lawn. Pay attention to your lawn. I didn't. And now that I've worked with the experts over at Green Lawn Fertilizing, My lawn is getting the proper treatments. It's coming back to life. It's recovering. And now family members, friends, neighbors, they're all jealous of the lawn that is happening in my backyard, the lawn that is happening in my front yard. And I can't thank the best in the Philadelphia area, Green Lawn Fertilizing. Experts in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. I didn't really care about my lawn, and that is a major mistake now that I'm on the other side. It changes everything. And what I'm telling you right now is Green Lawn Fertilizing is giving you 50% off your first 2 treatments when you sign up with the link down below in the description. It'll tell them that Brodes sent you 50% off your first 2 treatments. It's a no-brainer. Make sure you get started today. All right, so Bryce audio, voicemails. We'll do both here, but let's go to Bryce Harper. I forget which day this was, whether it was Friday or Saturday, but they talked about the wrist injury. This is a bigger deal. The fact that this is getting discussed 20 minutes in makes me very upset, but it's something that I need to digest and just, get all the flushing out. I had to flush the Pirates series out. They got swept by the Pirates. I don't know if you heard me say that or not. But here's what Bryce had to say.
It's been long enough to where, it got to the point where I can't really function on a baseball field or, hit a baseball or anything like that. So just a good time for me to take some time and get it right.
How similar is this to what you experienced last year?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah.
And it's gotten progressively worse. You felt it earlier, but just seems to be getting worse.
Yeah, I felt it early in the season, and tried to play through it as long as I could. And I think getting hit in the elbow has helped it. Just from the drainage of all the fluid coming down. But I think just try to get through it the best I can, and it's going to take some time, obviously, but hopefully get it done.
They don't need any type of outlook on how long that could take or what the plan is for right now?
No, not really. Obviously, you just try to, get through the treatment phase and see what I can do. But we got to get it, to calm down and get out there when I can.
Now that sounded terrible. That sounded awful. That's almost the worst sounding answer you can have other than season's over. And I don't know if this is trending in that direction, but he sure as hell isn't coming back anytime soon. And what's damaging about the whole process is he had this issue last year. So did he not get any work done and he did not look at it and see what needed to go down in the offseason? Thought time would just be the heal? Well, the second he got back, it caused him pain because we haven't had him good all year. We've had solid Bryce, but not the good Bryce, the real Bryce, because this has been lingering. So did he not do the necessary steps that needed to be taken, or worse, did he? And this is how it's responding. Did he get a procedure done and then had time off? Maybe not the most major wrist surgery in the world, but was there something done to look at the pain? I'd imagine if Bryce Harper is feeling significant discomfort at any point at the end of last season, the first thing to do is assess it in the offseason and talk about the routes you can go and the paths you can take. Did he ignore that information? Did he just want to play so badly he knew if he needed surgery that would knock him out? I don't know. But this is brutal, and this is bad, and this is damaging for a long run here, too, because this team, they probably couldn't do it with him. They sure as hell can't do it without him. And it's so much uglier. This offense is the non-existent offense. They changed the walk rate, this and that. Come on. Kevin Long needs to go, too. Kevin Long needs to go today. Kevin Long needs to be fired now. Now. What's a team meeting going to do? Someone laid it out to me that, whoa, isn't it sort of like week 5? And it's the bye week and the Eagle. Okay, well, give me the example of Saquon Barkley, who's the best running back in football, with the best offensive line with Mailata Lane and Cam Jurgens and Mekhi Becton, who had a sensational season, along Landon Dickerson, too. What's the equivalent? Tell me the Phillies equivalent of being able to be a more run-heavy team with that offensive line and Saquon Barkley. Go ahead. I'll be here all day. Oh, by the way, Stott, not what you needed. Boom, Not what you needed. They were supposed to be franchise changers. Now, not superstar Bryce Harpers, but serious pieces of the future. We love Stott, but offensively, not it. We do love Stott, but it's not it. And Bohm is not it. That doesn't mean I'm ready to piss away all these prospects, though, because I need to be smart about it. Now is not the time to buy in. It's so disappointing that we're here. I got so much more on the Bryce thing, but like I said, we got plenty of time to talk about it, unfortunately. Let's go to the phones, and let's take a couple of your Anytime Hotline calls.
This is utterly disgusting, and this is why I miss 2008 so much. I just can't do this anymore, bro. This is like the worst, the best. I don't even know how to describe this team. I just can't with this fucking team anymore, man. Shit makes me mad. We just lost to the Pirates. They're saying on Twitter, they own us. They run Pennsylvania. We gotta get our shit together, bro. This is outrageous. This is bullshit, bro. Fuck this, dog.
Yo! Wow. I don't know where to go from that. I'm not even kidding. I do not know where to go from there. Do I take another call? I mean, you could feel the pain. I need Bryce Harper to listen to that on the way to the ballpark. I need Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos to have that in their trucks showing up to the game against the Cubs. Just so they understand what this means. How badly we need this group for our sanity, for the good of this city, to save lives, some are saying, due to heartbreak. They are a good, bad team, but maybe they're just bad. You try and say they're one of the most annoying good teams assembled. I see where you're coming from, but maybe they're really just not that good. If you go back to 2022, they were not good until they just went on a hot ride. But outside of that, okay, so the 2023 run, when they lost to the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS, they had a good Brave series. Good Brave series. They played the Marlins before that in a wild card, a Marlins team. An 86 or 84 win team, I believe it was. Marlins team, that didn't count. That doesn't count as a playoff series. They won one round that year against the Braves and then lost in the NLCS. The reason I bring that up, and I think it's important, is because seriously outside of Magic 2022 that came out of your rear end, they weren't good during the regular season. It was just Magic. We talk about this era of playoff baseball with this core. Outside of 2022, they've won one reasonable playoff round. One. It really hasn't been that incredible. And they haven't been fun throughout a lot of the regular season. They've had maybe 2 series of playoff baseball that's been real. And then you want to add the Braves one in 2023, fine. 3 playoff series we're sitting here with saliva thinking about and dreaming about. And if Jeff Fleury was in the discussion, he'd talk about wet dreams about as a teenage boy. That's what we're over here goo-goo gaga about. 1 playoff run of that 1 good series in 23 against Atlanta. That doesn't mean they're actually that good. We say they're one of the most annoying good teams. But maybe they're just not. Maybe they're not. What is Nick? That Nick thing, you can look at his last 162. He's a 280 hitter. I watch it all. I wouldn't do that contract again. You couldn't pay me to do that contract again. No. Trey, no. His $295 this year, no. I actually believe, again, to a deeper level, and this is what you have to do when your team sucks this much, pick it apart. But part of why this team has no flair is because Trey is a face of it. Bryce, Trey, they're the faces. Now, Bryce, he doesn't get criticized the same way. I think we appreciate his attitude a lot more, just his flair. He's not perfect by any means, but it totally matches more of the style we're looking for. But everything else is so blah. Trey, without Bryce here, he's the $300 million man. Bryce is that much of a star where he overpowers a $300 million man. But Trey is the next in command. He's soft. He even did something the other day that irritated me. It was actually in the Sunday game. I think it was Kutch on second, and it was a laser line drive ripped to Trey. He caught the ball on the exchange to double him up. He just bobbled it. The run didn't score anyway because Otto Kemp was over at third. He made a nice catch to end the inning. You know, nothing crazy. Nice catch over here. I'm acting like the dude was doing Willie Mays. It was a standard routine pop-up at third. But that happened to get out of it so the missed double play stuff didn't crush you. But that does. Against good teams in the playoffs, that does. And Trey makes that mistake 99 out of 100 times. It's just not consistent enough. By the way, Otto Kemp, welcome to the majors. This is why when you start bringing up these kids, well, this guy hits at every level. Welcome, Paul Skeens. I mean, welcome to the majors. And even some dude, I don't even know who he is. He 3, Heth 3, Hell 3, no clue. Throwing 74 pitches and barely any work. How about you make the guys work? How about that? Sheesh, what a wild concept. We'll take Sean's call and then we'll wrap things up.
You know when it gets really bad, Hunter? When you know as a fan what's going to happen before it happens? And I say that for all the fans. There should be a rule in place. When there is a runner at first base and less than 2 out, and Alec Bohm is at the plate, how do you think this scenario is going to end? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. Gee, what a surprise, another double play from a third baseman that can only hit singles and is as slow as molasses. I mean, nothing more needs to be said about this series and the road trip as a whole. You've wasted multiple solid starting pitching performances because your team can't hit off a tee. Your hitting coach should be fired. Your manager should be fired. And Howie Roseman needs to be brought in and start to resurrect this roster much like he did the Eagles. Until these things are done, this team is in quicksand and going nowhere. Why do we waste our time? Why do we get bent out of shape about it?
Because we're sick. Because we're sick. It's a very easy question. That may be the easiest question of the day. We are sick-minded individuals. It's what it is. All right, Sean, appreciate everybody so much for kicking it with me. Thank you all so much, and thanks for being patient with this one. I know the game ended in the afternoon, but I had to do the show afterwards and come home and do this, and yeah, wow, what a baseball team, huh? We'll be talking very soon. Go, Phils, I guess.